Let's have a look at the brackets for the semi-finals. Of course, it is going to be Team Marduk, who will take on the Williams F1 driver of Nicholas Latifi. On the other side of the bracket, we've got Norris, who will be going up against Esteban Gutierrez, and then the winners of those will be looking to go up against each other in the final to make his debut this season, as they are away. We've got Team Marduk in the silver Mercedes with Nicholas Latifi in the white and blue Williams, as it looks like Team Marduk has got the job done. Latifi goes round. There's a drift as well from Team Marduk. They both had a bit of a spin, but it looks like they've got back underway with it. Of course, remember, this is a best of 3, guys, so if they lose out in the first race, they have got a chance to get the race win and take victory and move on to the final in the remaining 2 races. But it is going to put a lot of pressure on the second race. Nicholas Latifi currently trying to hunt down the YouTube content creator of Team Marduk. This guy plays this game daily for his content, so he has a lot of experience, but Nicholas Latifi has a huge amount of experience of driving these cars in real life. Of course, he was test driver before he got that full seat in the Williams. Nicholas Latifi not too far behind, only 8 tenths behind Team Marduk, 7 tenths now, closing in that gap on the YouTube content creator. Remember, the chance for him is going to be on the run through 130R and then down into the Capito triangle. If Team Marduk can't break very powerful down this race. Here goes Latifi following Team Marduk on the run down into the 130R. He is nearly got him, but it's going to be enough to go for an overtake. Here goes Latifi through the flat out corner of 130R. He's going to dive it out down into the Capito. Tries to get there. Team Marduk with a little lock up, and it looks like Team Marduk is going to get a race victory. A little bit of a problem that they're walking in, and Team Marduk takes race 1. Latifi has got it all to do in race 2, Andy.
No, but here we go then. Big opportunity, and it looks like it's actually Ben that is going to be on pole position as the 5 red lights go out, and we are racing here in Suzuka. Look at the burnout from Ben as he moves off the grid, aggressively covering Latifi into that first corner. Latifi has a little look. Oh, couldn't quite find a way through as they make their way through, and now on into the SE section. So Latifi, he knows this is a very difficult area of the racetrack to overtake, almost impossible when drivers are so closely matched. So it's all about just setting it up, keeping himself within range of Team Marduk. He's expected to lose time for this section due to the dirty air from the car in front. So Latifi then just holding firm, and then when we get onto the straighter areas of the racetrack, he should begin to gain with that slipstream. Look how much commitment Latifi had there into the second Degner. He really is pressuring Ben here as they make their way now into the hairpin, where we saw Kamui Kobayashi make a name for himself with so many do-or-die moves. We've not seen any yet in Veloce versus at this part of the track, but here we go then, swooping down the hill. This is where Latifi will start to reel Ben in, tucked right up behind that Ferrari, and it is around 4 tenths. So we are going to see a run to the flag as they make their way through Spoon, and Ben is out of shape, and Latifi is reeling him in. Latifi knows he has to get this place if he wants to take this to a final race. Ben can sense the danger. He's moving left, he's moving right as they make their way into 130R. Nicholas Latifi simply has to go for the move. Ben parks his car in the middle of the road, then to the right, brakes late, brakes too late, goes really wide, and Latifi should surely swoop in, and he does. Going into the final corner, Latifi, the Canadian, the Formula 1 driver, gets one over on the content creator. The pressure was on Ben, and the pressure told, and Latifi done it. Brilliant job there, Haydon.
But here we go, the lights coming on. It is Team Marduk once again in pole position, this time opting for the silver Mercedes instead of the Ferrari, and it looks like he's got a better start again, cutting across Latifi on the run down in towards turn 1. Now the lead Latifi is going to have to settle behind Team Marduk as they go through the rest of the circuit. There's not really that many opportunities for an overtake, but if Ben does make a mistake, then he will surely capitalise on that and try to get past us. It's very nice between the two of these through the S's section. Now through the very long Dunlop curves, they head down towards Degner 1 and Degner 2. Team Marduk still holding the lead at the moment. 5 tenths of a second is the gap between the two of these. Latifi again with the same amount of commitment that he had previously through Degner 2 as now we go in towards the hairpin. Will Latifi dive for a move? It would be a very opportunistic move if he did do so. It looks like he was quicker through the hairpin there than Team Marduk. The gap has certainly come down to 5 tenths of a second once more, but this is where, like you said earlier, Andy, Latifi will be hunting down Team Marduk through the spoon curve as they go through the first part and then the second part. A good exit from both of those. No, it's not. I cursed him. Latifi is round, and that looks like it's going to be certain victory for Team Marduk, unless Ben makes a mistake through the last couple of corners. It can be very tricky through the Casio triangle, and then you have a bump to deal with on the exit of this corner. So if Ben makes a mistake, if he doesn't realize that the bump's there and just loses the back end, he can crash, and he hasn't. No, he hasn't crashed. He's come across the line, and it is a race win for Team at Marduk, who puts himself into the final. Congratulations, Team at Marduk. You are the first man into the final. But here we go, though, a battle between Lando Norris and Esteban Gutierrez. We have Gutierrez in the silver Mercedes. Lando is in the bright orange McLaren. Once again, like we saw with Team at Marduk, Gutierrez holding the inside line. Lando not really that aggressive as he gets caught up behind Esteban Gutierrez. They're very close between the two of them, but Lando Norris will have to be patient now. Will have to bide his time and wait to go for a move. Oh no, Lando is off the track. He's onto the grass, into the gravel, and now that is going to be a huge gap between the two of them, Andy.
Yeah, big gap now between them, and I think Lando's just got to try and apply as much pressure as he can, just try and lower the gap. He's got nothing to lose now. This first leg is surely going to go the way of Esteban Gutierrez unless he makes a mistake. So Gutierrez will be thinking, be cautious, keep it on the island, go slow, it's in the bag. Lando opposite, got to go and fling everything at it, and who knows, it might apply some pressure. Already the gap coming down to 1.8 seconds, 1.3 seconds. And this is just the mindset that the drivers have got to have. It's contrasting. Gutierrez has got everything to lose. Lando's just got to go hell for leather, and he is. But surely 1.4 seconds is too much to overhaul unless Gutierrez makes a real mistake. And look at that. There we go. That's just how much Lando Norris is throwing that into spoon carve. He has to do it, and he makes the mistake. That's a bit similar, Haydon, to what we saw in the last 16, the very first round, when everyone was trying their best in the one race format. And that's the kind of thing you see when you're going desperate to try and get back into it. But it's not going to be. Esteban Gutierrez rounds the Casio triangle, and he should take the first leg victory in a best of 3 shootout against Lando Norris. Up to the line he comes and takes the first win. So, yeah, here we go then. This is crucial. Massive race, this one. Lando Norris versus Esteban Gutierrez. Lando moves away in the lead. I'm getting a little bit of lag. I'm not sure if you've got that as well, Haydon, as Lando Norris leads them down into the first corner. And it's Lando leading from Esteban Gutierrez in 0.7 of a second. The difference between them. It's a bit confusing because Lando's actually the one in the Mercedes and it's Esteban that's in the McLaren. So I don't know if they're trying to confuse us, but it is Lando leading the way by 0.8 of a second as they climb the hill. And as I mentioned in the Latifi versus Ben battle, for Esteban, it's all about staying within range. It's the second part of the lap where he'll reel Lando in, where it's all straights. Gutierrez here, he'll struggle, and already Lando building that gap up to 1.1 seconds, and at the minute looking to be in a commanding position. But things can change very quickly as they make their way through the hairpin, midway through the lap, and now through this long swooping right-hander which takes you down towards spoon curve. 1.2 seconds between Lando and Esteban. It's a tall order from Esteban. Lando just has to keep it tiny, and as I say that, he's a little bit wide, but he's just about keeping things all under control. Esteban not really closing in, and it looks like we are going to go to a decider, and that's what we love to see who will meet Benjamin Daly in the final. But Lando has still got the final sector to negotiate. Flying through 130R he goes, and up towards the final chicane, the Casio triangle. Lando Norris makes his way through there, untroubled. Just the final corner to go, and we are going with a little bit of slide over that bump you mentioned earlier, Haydon, across the line, and he levels it up at 1 point each. We've got one more to go
to tell. Oh no, they're both in Mercedes cars. Okay, this is going to be difficult once again, but Lando looks to be starting in pole position. Just look out for his yellow helmet, as it looks like Gutierrez has got off to a fantastic start, but Lando holds it down in towards turn 1. Will Gutierrez go around the outside into the first one? He's going to have to try it. We're back on board with Esteban Gutierrez. He goes around the outside potentially on Lando Norris. These guys so close to each other. Gutierrez doing what other drivers have failed to do, sticking it behind through the S's section. The Gutierrez now only really starting to affect him as they go through the Dunlop curve. Gutierrez with maybe a better line through there than Lando Norris. It's still so close. Nothing to separate these two drivers as Lando Norris holds it through Degner 1. Through Degner 2 they go, and again holding the position. Will Gutierrez go for a do or dive move in towards the hairpin? He holds back for the time being. He's probably going to wait down in through the exit off spoon curve as the back end comes out on Lando Norris there. A little bit of fishtailing from the McLaren driver, currently in that silver Mercedes. Esteban Gutierrez right behind Lando Norris. He's going to have a look around the outside into the spoon curve. Lando Norris defends. Now this is going to be the vital part of the circuit. He's going to get the slipstream, comes right up behind Lando Norris all the way down to 130R, through 130R, and then down into the Casio triangle. Will he go for a move through this very fast corner? Lando holding the inside line for the time being. Gutierrez is going to have to go around the outside through the Casio. There's contact between the two of them. Gutierrez tried to switch back, tried to get the inside line there. And it looks like Gutierrez is going to cross the line ahead of Lando Norris on the track, but I think it's going to be a slam dunk penalty there for Esteban Gutierrez. In this case, is most likely going to go to Lando Norris. Probably going to take the race victory here, as the stewards will definitely be looking into that, but I think Lando Norris is going to take it, Andy. But it's just been confirmed there. Lando Norris will take the race win there. Esteban Gutierrez, unfortunately, like we said, is do or die in these 1v1 head-to-heads. You've got to go for the moves. As we're going to have a look at the bracket of just how our two finalists have made their way through. So TMM Marduk, he came up against Schumacher first. It was a great battle between the two of those, but Ben just managed to get the job done. Then he went up against Archie Hamilton, and that was quite an easy victory there for TMM Marduk. Then he progressed and went up against Nicholas Latifi, who is, of course, F1 driver for Williams. That was a close battle between the two of them, but he just about got the victory over Latifi. Lando Norris also had a difficult time on his progress to the final. Went up against Fenestraz first, very close between those two drivers. That got him up against Will and E, who, to be fair to him, surprised us and actually gave Lando Norris a bit of a battle. And of course, we've just seen Norris versus Esteban Gutierrez, which was a great show. And that is how Norris has gone to the final. 5 lights come on here in Belgium, and we go racing. As it looks like TMM Marduk starts from pole position. He is ahead of Lando Norris as they run down in towards the source. He's got the job done. The Lando Norris switches back and then Ben runs wide, and that gives position to Lando Norris. But is that tactic from TMM Marduk? He's going to get the victory. He's going to get the run all the way down in towards the com, and he could potentially get the opening back on Lando Norris. Look at the slipstream. Look at how much that is overpowered compared to the car ahead. And it looks like TMM Marduk is going to make an easy meal of Lando Norris to go down in towards the comp. And Lando holding on the inside. No, he decides against it. Ben locks up there. TMM Marduk just locks up a little bit in that orange McLaren. They're both in orange McLaren. As now Lando looks to go up the inside in towards Rivage. Can he get the job done? Yes, he can. Ben going for the switchback maneuver then. Can he pull it off? No, he can't. They go into the corner with no name. Lando Norris ahead of TMM Marduk for the time being, but they run down in towards Phil, and it's going to be side by side between the two of them. This is such a fast corner. Lando Norris with the switchback on the power. Now wheel to wheel again between the two of these. What a final we have got ahead of us, and it's only the first of these best of 3 battles. Wheel to wheel everywhere out on track. Benjamin Daly trying to hold it round the outside of Lando Norris as they come down in towards Stavalo now. Benjamin Daly still holding on that inside line. There's contact between the two of them. Lando on the outside. He's hit the barrier, and it looks like it's all over for Lando Norris in race 1. Unfortunately, TMM Marduk is going to probably take the race victory, but he has still got a couple of corners to deal with down into the bus stop chicane. It can be very easy to lose the back end on the braking into this corner, but it looks like TMM Marduk has got it all sorted, as it looks like he's going to come into the pit. Showboating once again from TMM Marduk. Will Lando Norris, though, is he up and running? I don't think so. I think TMM Marduk is going to take the race victory. Lando Norris nothing the final corner. Just try and get in front there. Come on the show for us. But Lando Norris disqualified from the session because of that. And it is race 1 victory to TMM Marduk.
And here come the 5 red lights. We're about to go racing in the second installment in this final. It's TMM Marduk versus Lando Norris. It's Lando Norris pulling away from pole, running down towards La Source, and he will lead them through that first corner. But as I said, he's gone a little bit wide, and Ben is just going to go straight through it. And I tell you what, that looked deliberate. That looked like a planned move from Lando Norris. He knows that getting into the slipstream is the ideal opportunity. That's what you want to do. I think we've seen in recent years in real life Formula 1 people slowing down to get DRS. Obviously there's no DRS in a 1-lap sprint, but it just shows you how powerful the slipstream is in this game. And Ben at the minute is holding on. It was almost as if Lando Norris held off that little bit too much going into the first corner, but he will get a second chance coming out of Stavalo. So Ben not too tidy through there. Lando staying close to the back of him as they make their way through Malmedy and down towards this tricky hairpin. Ben locking up but holding on at the minute. If he stays there, he will win the Veloce Versus. We won't need a decider, but You neutrals watching, I'm sure you all want to see it go all the way to the final. I sure do. Has Lando Norris got any tricks up his sleeve as they make their way through Puhon, almost flat out through there? TMF Marduk, the Aussie, still holding on. He was one of the pre-race favourites, as was Lando Norris, and they've both made their way all the way to the final, through the Fania chicane, and then through the first and second part of Stavelot, and then it is a race up to the bus stop. Lando Norris is exactly where you need to be, right behind him in the slipstream, and gaining and gaining and gaining as they make their way up towards Blanchimont now. Ben looks to have some serious straight line speed, but Lando is gaining and gaining, and he's going to have to go for a move then into the bus stop chicane if he wants to keep this series alive for one race longer. Ben defends the inside. Lando tries the outside. He's now going to have to go down the inside. He's lost it. He's spun. And surely that means that is that. And Ben is going to take the win. Or is he letting him go?
No.
He is letting him go. And Lando
Norris
comes across the line and wins.
move as the 5 lights coming on. We are underway for the final time in the Not the GP versus series. Looks like Lando Norris has got a much better start there than Benjamin Daly, but we know it's all about the mind games on this rundown in towards the Kemmel Straight and on towards the Commons. It looks like TMF Marduk is going to be following behind Lando Norris. But what has Norris got up his sleeve? Will he tuck back behind Benjamin Daly as they're going side by side now through this right-hander onto the Kemmel Straight? And here goes Lando Norris. He's going to tuck back into that slipstream and try and dive it up the inside, possibly on the TMF Marduk in towards the Com. Here he goes up the inside. No, he doesn't. Not late enough for the brakes. Prepared to TMF Marduk, who holds the position for the time being. But Lando will be going now down in towards Rivage. It's all to play for. It's do or die. He needs to get past TMF Marduk if he wants to be crowned the first champion of the Not the GP versus Benjamin Daly. Though TMF Marduk holding on to it, doing a fine job. He's only 2/10 of a second separating these two drivers. Through the one now. TMF Marduk still holding on to position, but Lando has caught up massively. Will he go up the inside in towards the street? He doesn't look. Up the inside goes Lando. He can't quite get the job done. TMF Marduk still holding on fantastically. But this is the most important part of the circuit for Lando. He needs.
Well, here we go then. So we're going to go side by side down towards the end of the lap, and TMF Marduk is going to go defensive to the inside. We're going to go side by side through Blanchimont. This is the perfect finale to the final, and Lando Norris has found the way down the inside. That's what's so important, getting that inside line. He brakes really late. Crowds Ben out, and Lando Norris is surely going to win the drag race to the line. He is surely, look at that, it's almost a dead heat, but Lando Norris by 0.06 of a second has done it. He's beaten TMF Marduk, and he wins the Not the GP Veloce versus. Fantastic stuff there, great racing, and that's exactly what we love to see. It went right to the end, and you know, Lando was close enough this time. He was able to get alongside before the braking zone. Ben didn't get the inside that he wanted. Lando got it, and it proved crucial, Haydon.